affiliated network of hackers spread across the globe. During the hack of the Fed, Anonymous stole the login credentials of some
they perceive as evil on the part of overweening power structures.
Early hours of December 2011, a group of anonymous hackers infiltrated the servers of Stratfor, a private intelligence firm known for its shadowy dealings with governments and corporations worldwide. Leading the charge was Jeremy Hammond, a determined activist who believed that the world had a right to know about the covert operations and secretive influence of global power brokers. What began as a cyber intrusion would soon unravel into one of the most significant data breaches of the decade, revealing millions of emails and sensitive information that exposed the hidden connections between corporate interests and government surveillance. This bold attack thrust Hammond into the spotlight, marking him as a hero to some and a criminal to others. Jeremy Hammond was born on January 8, 1985, in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up in a suburban neighborhood with a supportive family. From a young age, he showed an interest in technology and how it could shape the world. His early years were filled with curiosity and creativity, and his family encouraged his growing passion for computers. As a teenager, Hammond's love for technology grew stronger. He became skilled in programming and computer systems, spending many hours learning different software and coding languages. The internet was his space to explore and learn. But Hammond wasn't only focused on technology. He was also interested in how it could be used to bring about social change. He saw the connection between technology and society, believing that it could be a powerful tool for activism. While many of his peers followed traditional career paths, Hammond used his tech skills and political awareness to pursue a different direction. He viewed the internet as a platform for freedom and transparency, a way to empower people and challenge authority. This belief guided his work as a hacker, where he aimed to uncover hidden truths and promote fairness, even though his actions sparked controversy. From an early age, Jeremy Hammond was influenced by the social and political movements that would later shape his activism. He became deeply involved in causes that focused on social justice, environmental sustainability, and anti-war efforts. These movements resonated with Hammond as they aligned with his growing desire to challenge authority and stand up for marginalized communities. The injustices he saw around him motivated him to take action and join the fight for change. Hammond's passion for activism only grew stronger as he became more aware of inequalities in society. He found himself drawn to the idea of using technology as a tool for resistance, believing that it could be a powerful way to expose corruption and promote justice. While studying computer science at the University of Illinois at Chicago, Hammond realized that his true calling lay beyond traditional education. His focus shifted more towards political activism and digital resistance, causing him to step away from his formal studies. Although his academic career was cut short, Hammond's commitment to activism never wavered. He used his knowledge of computer systems and programming to fight for causes he believed in, often working at the intersection of technology and social change. His involvement in political movements and digital activism set him on a path that would eventually lead to significant, though controversial, contributions to the fight for transparency and justice. Hammond's early hacking endeavors weren't motivated by financial gain, but by his strong desire to expose corruption, fight against corporate dominance, and promote transparency. He believed in using his skills to challenge powerful institutions that he felt were oppressing ordinary people. This mindset set the stage for his later involvement with Anonymous, a decentralized activist and hacking group. In the late 2000s, Jeremy Hammond became involved with Anonymous, a decentralized group of hacktivists known for their global activities. Anonymous operated without a formal structure, but its members shared common goals, including the fight for freedom of information and resistance to censorship. For Hammond, joining this collective aligned with his beliefs about using technology to challenge authority and support justice. Anonymous gained widespread attention for launching cyber attacks against government agencies, corporations, and other powerful institutions. The group often targeted organizations they believed were infringing on people's rights or hiding important information from the public. Through their actions, Anonymous aimed to disrupt the systems of control, shining a light on issues of corruption, oppression, and secrecy. Hammond's participation in Anonymous brought him further into the world of hacktivism. He became involved in operations that sought to expose wrongdoing and empower individuals. Although these actions sparked controversy, Hammond and the collective operated under the belief that their efforts were part of a larger fight for transparency and justice in an increasingly digital world. Jeremy Hammond was drawn to Anonymous because its principles closely matched his own beliefs in social justice and the right to free access to information. The group's mission to challenge oppressive systems through digital means resonated with his sense of factivism. For Hammond, the internet was more than just a network of computers. It was a platform for standing up against corruption and defending the rights of the underrepresented. Like many members of Anonymous, Hammond viewed the internet as a powerful tool for resisting unjust authority. The group's decentralized nature allowed individuals from all over the world to collaborate in their shared goal of promoting transparency and challenging those in power. Hammond's dedication to these causes only grew stronger as he realized the potential of digital activism to create real change, especially in an era where information was often controlled by the powerful. With his advanced programming skills and firm political convictions, Hammond quickly became one of the group's most active members. He was involved in organizing and executing numerous hacks, using his talents to further the group's aims. Through his work with Anonymous, Hammond sought to empower ordinary people by breaking down barriers that prevented access to vital information, all while continuing to fight for a more just and transparent world. Hacktivism is the practice of using hacking to achieve political or social goals. It merges traditional forms of activism with the digital world, aiming to reveal corruption, promote transparency, and support various social causes. Hacktivists operate in cyberspace, where they see technology as a tool for resistance, pushing back against institutions and systems they believe are unjust. Unlike conventional hackers, who may be motivated by financial gain or chaos, hacktivists focus on challenging authority and advocating for change. For many hacktivists, the cause is greater than the personal risks involved. They view themselves as modern-day rebels, fighting against oppression and secrecy in an increasingly digital age. By targeting powerful organizations, they hope to expose hidden truths and empower people with information that would otherwise be out of reach. Their actions, while often controversial, are driven by a desire to make the world more fair and open, using the internet as their battlefield. For Jeremy Hammond, hacktivism was not just a method of protest, it was a personal mission. He believed it was his moral duty to use his programming and hacking skills to fight for the greater good. For him, it wasn't just about breaking into systems, but about shining a light on injustices and giving a voice to the voiceless. In this sense, Hammond saw himself not just as a hacker, but as a champion for social justice in the digital age. Jeremy Hammond's most infamous action occurred in December 2011, when he and other members of Anonymous hacked into the private intelligence firm Strategic Forecasting Inc., commonly known as Stratfor. This US-based organization was known for providing intelligence and analysis to a range of powerful clients, including corporations, governments, and military entities across the globe. The hack was one of the largest cyber attacks conducted by Anonymous, marking a significant moment in Hammond's hacking career. Stratfor held vast amounts of sensitive information, from private client data to detailed geopolitical reports. These reports were often used by global actors to make important decisions in business, politics, and military operations. The firm's role as a provider of intelligence to influential organizations made it a key target for Hammond, who sought to expose what he saw as a dangerous concentration of secretive power and information. The hack led to the release of thousands of confidential emails and documents, many of which revealed the inner workings of powerful institutions. Hammond believed the that by exposing these secrets, he was striking a blow against the growing surveillance state and corporate control. The Stratfor hack was widely condemned by authorities, but for Hammond, it was a significant act of resistance against systems he saw as unjust, reinforcing his commitment to the principles of transparency and accountability. The hack on Stratfor started when Jeremy Hammond and other anonymous members successfully infiltrated the company's databases. These databases held millions of emails, client lists, and financial records representing sensitive information from some of the most powerful institutions in the world. By gaining access to this data, the hackers were able to expose a wealth of confidential communications between Stratfor employees and their clients. Once inside, the hackers uncovered a wide range of sensitive material. This included emails discussing geopolitical strategies, business dealings, and private conversations between Stratfor and its high-profile clients. The data revealed the behind-the-scenes workings of a company that played a significant role in providing intelligence to governments, corporations, and military organizations. For Hammond, this was an opportunity to shine a light on what he saw as the misuse of power and secretive operations. The stolen data was eventually passed on to WikiLeaks, an organization known for publishing classified information. WikiLeaks released the material under the title The Global Intelligence Files, making thousands of emails and documents publicly available. The publication sparked widespread controversy as the leak revealed the inner workings of Stratfor and its influence on global affairs. For Hammond and his fellow hackers, this act was a significant step in their mission to promote transparency and challenge authority. One of the biggest revelations from the Stratfor hack was the company's deep connections with both private corporations and government agencies. The leaked emails showed how Stratfor acted as a key player in intelligence gathering, often serving as a middleman between its private clients and various government agencies. This information exposed the extent to which Stratfor was involved in surveillance activities, going beyond its role as a provider of geopolitical analysis. The hacked emails revealed how Stratfor monitored activist groups, environmental organizations, and political movements at the request of its clients. These clients included some of the largest corporations and powerful government entities around the world. The revelations showed how closely intertwined the public and private sectors were when it came to gathering intelligence and conducting secret operations. Stratfor's work often blurred the lines between corporate interests and government priorities. The documents also highlighted the secretive nature of these dealings. Private corporations used Stratfor's services to keep tabs on competitors, critics, and even their own employees. Government agencies relied on the firm's intelligence to shape policies and make decisions behind closed doors. For Hammond and others involved in the hack, these revelations confirmed their suspicions about the close ties between powerful institutions and the surveillance state, further fueling their commitment to exposing such hidden activities. The Stratfor hack didn't end with just the exposure of emails. Anonymous also managed to access the credit card information of the firm's clients. This information was then used to make unauthorized donations to various organizations, including nonprofits and charities. The hackers believed these donations would serve a higher purpose, supporting causes they viewed as positive and aligned with their beliefs in social justice and activism. While the intention may have been to do some good, the financial impact on Stratfor's clients was severe. Many individuals and organizations saw their credit cards misused, resulting in significant monetary losses. What might have been seen as an act of charity, in the eyes of the hackers, quickly turned into a legal nightmare, as these unauthorized transactions caused major financial damage to those affected. These actions significantly deepened the legal case against Jeremy Hammond. Authorities saw the misuse of credit card information as a serious crime, adding to the charges he faced for the original hack. The financial fallout from these actions made it clear that, despite the hackers' intentions, their actions had serious consequences, both for Stratfor's clients and for Hammond himself. The Stratfor hack sent shockwaves around the world, becoming one of the largest and most significant cyber attacks ever launched against a private intelligence firm. The breach exposed the hidden workings of an influential organization, and the release of sensitive emails and documents brought global attention to the issues of surveillance, corporate influence, and government secrecy. It was a wake-up call for many, showing just how interconnected and secretive the relationships between governments and private companies could be. For Jeremy Hammond, the hack was more than just an act of digital sabotage. It was a deeply political statement meant to challenge the structures of power that operate behind closed doors. By exposing the communications of an intelligence firm like Stratfor, Hammond aimed to spark a conversation about transparency and accountability in a world where decisions affecting millions are often made in the shadows. The hack called into question the ethics of surveillance and the influence private firms have on global policy. While the attack was highly controversial, it also served as a reminder of the growing power of hacktivism in the digital age. Hammond and others like him believed that hacking could be a form of resistance, one that could challenge corrupt systems and force powerful actors to answer for their actions. Jeremy Hammond's role in the Stratfor hack did not escape the attention of law enforcement. The FBI had been monitoring Anonymous for some time, closely watching their activities and gathering evidence. As one of the most active members of the group, Hammond's digital footprint began to attract more scrutiny. His involvement in such a high-profile hack made him a prime target for investigation. After months of careful tracking, the FBI was able to trace Hammond's online activities back to his apartment in Chicago. They had gathered enough evidence to connect him to the Stratfor breach, and law enforcement was ready to take action. Hammond's attempts to hide his identity online were no longer enough to evade the authorities who were closing in on him. On March 5, 2012, the FBI raided Hammond's home and arrested him. The arrest marked the end of a significant chapter in Anonymous's hacktivist activities, and Hammond's capture became a major event in the ongoing battle between law enforcement and hacktivists. For Hammond, the arrest was the consequence of his actions, but it also cemented his status as a key figure in the fight for transparency and justice in the digital age. Jeremy Hammond's arrest was part of a larger effort by the FBI to dismantle Anonymous. This crackdown was largely made possible by Hector Xavier Monsegur, better known by his alias Sabu. Monsegur had been a prominent member of Anonymous, trusted by many within the group. However, after his own arrest, he began secretly working with the FBI as an informant. For months, he provided law enforcement with valuable information on the activities and identities of other Anonymous members. Sabu's cooperation with the FBI played a crucial role in the investigation that led to Hammond's capture. By staying in close contact with the group, Monsegur was able to gain access to sensitive information about Anonymous operations and its key players. Hammond, who was one of the most active and vocal members, became a primary target in the FBI's mission to bring down the hacktivist network. Ultimately, it was Sabu's betrayal that sealed Hammond's fate. Without Monsegur's inside knowledge, it would have been much harder for law enforcement to track Hammond's activities. His arrest was a significant victory for the FBI in their ongoing battle against Anonymous, but it also highlighted the risks and vulnerabilities faced by members of hacktivist groups when trust is broken from within. After his arrest, Hammond faced a range of serious charges, including conspiracy to commit computer hacking, access device fraud, and theft of credit card information. Facing the possibility of decades in prison, Hammond ultimately pleaded guilty to the charges in exchange for a more lenient sentence. In November 2013, Jeremy Hammond was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison, marking one of the harshest penalties ever handed down to a hacktivist. His sentencing sent a clear message to the hacking community that such actions would not be taken lightly by the legal system. Hammond's case became a symbol of the government's determination to crack down on those who used hacking as a form of political protest or activism, no matter the motivations behind their actions. Hammond's supporters saw the sentence as overly harsh and argued that his intentions were not malicious. They believed that his primary goal was to expose corruption and wrongdoing. not to inflict damage. To them, the punishment did not fit the crime, especially given Hammond's stated commitment to social justice and transparency. Many viewed him as a whistleblower who had been punished for revealing the truth about powerful institutions operating in secrecy. Jeremy Hammond's case sparked widespread debate about the ethics of hacktivism and the role of technology in political activism. To many of his supporters, Hammond wasn't just a hacker, he was a whistleblower. They believed he was using his skills to reveal the unethical practices of powerful institutions that operated in secrecy. By exposing these hidden truths, they argued that Hammond was standing up for the public's right to know what was happening behind closed doors. For Hammond's supporters, his actions were seen as a form of civil disobedience, a non-violent way to protest against government overreach and corporate influence. They pointed out that the information he exposed, particularly in the Stratfor hack, highlighted troubling issues like mass surveillance and the close ties between private corporations and government agencies. To them, Hammond's actions were not about causing harm, but about sparking important conversations on transparency and accountability. The case also raised questions about where the line should be drawn between activism and criminality. While some praised Hammond for his courage in taking a stand, others argued that hacking, even for a cause, can have far-reaching and unintended consequences. The ethical debate surrounding his case continues to influence discussions on the role of technology in political protest and the balance between security and transparency in the digital age. Critics of Jeremy Hammond and Anonymous raised concerns about the potential dangers of hacktivism. They argued that breaching secure databases and leaking sensitive information, even in the name of activism, could have unintended and harmful consequences. These critics claim that hacktivists, in their pursuit of transparency and social justice, often overlook the collateral damage caused by their actions, which can affect innocent people and organizations. In the case of the Stratfor hack, critics pointed to the financial losses suffered by Stratfor's clients as a major issue. Many of these clients had their private data compromised, including credit card information, which was later used in unauthorized transactions. The impact on these individuals and businesses was significant, and critics argued that these kinds of actions were reckless and irresponsible. Regardless of the hacktivists' intentions, some critics highlighted the potential risks to national security. Stratfor's databases contained sensitive information related to government agencies and military operations. The leak of such data, they argued, could have serious consequences for U.S. national security, and this justified the severe legal actions taken against Hammond. For these critics, the line between activism and criminality was clear, and they believed that hacktivists should face tough penalties to prevent future breaches of this kind. The ethical debate surrounding hacktivism is ongoing. On one side, there are those who believe that hacking can be a legitimate form of protest in an era where traditional forms of activism may be limited or ineffective. On the other side, there are those who see hacking as inherently illegal and harmful, regardless of the motives behind it. Jeremy Hammond has remained firm in his beliefs, even after his arrest and sentencing. In various interviews and public statements, he has consistently expressed no regret for his actions, maintaining that he was fighting for a just cause. Hammond has defended his involvement in the Stratfor hack and similar operations, arguing that his aim was to expose corruption and bring attention to critical issues that affect society, such as government surveillance and corporate power. Hammond has been vocal about his opposition to the growing surveillance state, which he believes threatens the privacy and freedoms of ordinary citizens. He has also criticized corporate greed and the criminalization of dissent, pointing to his own case as an example of how activists are punished for standing up against powerful institutions. For Hammond, his actions were a form of protest, a way to challenge the systems that he saw as corrupt and unjust. Even in prison, Hammond has continued to advocate for the causes he believes in. His commitment to activism has made him a symbol of resistance for many in the hacktivist community and beyond. Despite the harsh consequences he has faced, Hammond remains a figure of inspiration for those who see technology as a tool for challenging authority and promoting social justice. His story continues to spark debates about the role of digital activism and the fine line between protest and criminality. Jeremy Hammond's case, along with other high-profile hacktivist actions, left a significant mark on the hacktivist movement and sparked important discussions around cyber activism. The Stratfor hack, in particular, showed how technology had evolved from a communication tool into a powerful means of protest. For activists like Hammond, the internet became a space where they could directly confront powerful institutions using their digital skills to expose hidden truths and demand accountability. The impact of Hammond's actions went beyond the hack itself. His case brought attention to the growing influence of hacktivism in modern activism, as well as the risks and consequences associated with it. It demonstrated how the internet could be used to challenge both governments and corporations on a global scale, forcing these entities to respond to the power of digital resistance. For many, it highlighted the potential of hacktivism to change the way political protests are conducted in the digital age. At the same time, the legal consequences faced by Hammond and others in the movement showed the high stakes of engaging in cyber activism. While some viewed these acts as necessary for promoting transparency and social justice, others saw them as dangerous and illegal. Hammond's case became a defining moment in the ongoing conversation about the role of technology in activism, showing both its potential and the serious repercussions it could bring. Hammond's case also brought attention to the risks faced by hacktivists. Many members of Anonymous and other groups operated under the assumption that their anonymity would protect them from legal repercussions. However, the FBI's successful infiltration of the group and the harsh sentences handed down to people like Hammond demonstrated the serious consequences that hacktivists could face. Despite these risks, the hacktivism movement continued to grow. The rise of whistleblowers like Edward Snowden, who exposed the extensive surveillance programs run by the U.S. government, added fuel to the fire. Many saw Hammond and Snowden as part of the same fight, a fight for transparency, accountability, and the protection of civil liberties in an increasingly digital world. Hammond's actions, while controversial, helped spark a broader conversation about the role of technology in activism. His legacy as a hacktivist lives on in the continued efforts of activists who use the internet to challenge power structures and advocate for change. The story of Jeremy Hammond is not just about a single individual or a single hack. It is about the broader struggle for a more open and just world, one where the powerful are held accountable and where technology is used as a force for good.